This topic is chemistry. The first word is absorb. Absorb. It's a verb. It means to take something in from the surface or space around it. The noun is absorption. That's the process. The adjective is absorbent. That means able to take in liquids easily. Here's a usage tip. It is sometimes followed by into. For example, the medicine is absorbed quickly into your blood. Some more examples. Many people aren't aware that algae absorbs a lot of carbon dioxide. Remember, we talked about algae in the biology section. Paper towels absorb liquids easily. If you don't know what paper towels are, that's what's in the picture there. The next word is acid. Acid. This is a countable and uncountable noun. It means a chemical with a pH of less than 7, which is usually a liquid. Let's see the word family. There are two adjectives, which are acid and acidic. Those mean the same thing. And there's a noun, which is acidity. That means the amount of acid in a substance. Vinegar is an acid. The chemists in that lab work with many different types of acids. You need to be careful with sulfuric acid because it can cause severe skin burns. This word is additive. Additive. It's a countable noun. An additive is a substance that is added to something, usually food, to improve its taste or appearance, or to make it last longer. Here are a couple of collocations. An artificial additive and a food additive. We are often told to avoid food additives, but nutritionists say that some are harmless. Many people are sensitive to the additive MSG. The next word is alkali. Alkali. It's a countable and uncountable noun. It's a substance that, when dissolved in water, creates a solution with a pH higher than 7. It is the opposite of an acid. The adjective is alkaline. Caustic soda, sodium hydroxide, is a very strong alkali. Alkalis are used to neutralize acids. And now we have alloy. Alloy. It's a countable noun. An alloy is a metal that is made by combining two or more metals, or a metal and another substance. The verb is also alloy. It means to mix one metal with another. We say to alloy something with something. Brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Alloys often have more practical applications than pure metals. Stainless steel is an alloy that mainly consists of iron and chromium. Sinks, like the ones in the picture, are often made of stainless steel. Now we have arsenic. Arsenic. It's an uncountable noun. Arsenic is a chemical element with the symbol AS. It is usually grey in colour and very poisonous. Arsenic is used in some alloys. For example, lead alloys that are used in car batteries. In case you haven't heard the word lead before, it's a chemical element with the symbol Pb. The presence of arsenic in groundwater can cause arsenic poisoning in people. This word is asbestos. Asbestos. It's an uncountable noun. Asbestos is a soft grey mineral that does not burn easily and was often used in building materials and protective clothing in the past. It is dangerous if you breathe it in. A noun connected to it is asbestosis. This is a disease caused by breathing in asbestos fibers. In many countries, it is now illegal to use asbestos as a building material. Inhalation of asbestos, particularly over a long period of time, can lead to asbestosis and cancer. This word is atom. Atom. It's a countable noun. An atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist alone. Let's see the word family. We have the adjective atomic, the adverb atomically, and the verb atomize. Atomize means to change something so it is in very small parts. Atoms are made up of subatomic particles, which are called electrons, protons, and neutrons. Splitting the nucleus of an atom, also known as nuclear fission, causes a nuclear reaction. The next word is bleach. Bleach. It's countable and uncountable. Bleach is a strong chemical used to disinfect things or to make things white or pale. Disinfect means to clean something in a way that kills bacteria. The verb is also bleach. It means to use bleach or to make something lighter using chemicals or the sun. She tried to dye her hair by using a household bleach, but she just ended up destroying her hair and burning her skin. We use bleach to clean our toilet. Next we have compound. Compound. This is a countable noun. It's a substance that consists of atoms of two or more elements. Let's see the word family. First we have the verb compound. Yes, the pronunciation is a little different. Compound. Compound means to mix two things together. And then we have the adjective, which is pronounced like the noun. Compound. The adjective means consisting of two or more parts. Here are a couple of collocations. We have a chemical compound and an organic compound. Table salt mostly consists of the compound sodium chloride, NaCl. That's what you can see in the picture. This word is contaminate. Contaminate. It's a verb. To contaminate means to make something dirty, poisonous, or less pure. We have two nouns. The first one is contamination, which is the process or the state of being contaminated. And we have contaminant. A contaminant is something that contaminates something else. The groundwater has been contaminated by arsenic. Fumes from cars and industry have contaminated the city's air. Fumes are gas or smoke that's unpleasant to breathe in. And now the verb corrode. Corrode. To corrode means to slowly destroy metal or stone with water, air, or a chemical, or to be destroyed this way. In other words, something can corrode metal or stone, or metal or stone can corrode. Let's see the word family. We have the noun corrosion, which is the process or metal that has corroded. And we have the adjective corrosive. That means able to corrode something. The salty ocean air has corroded the metal locks on the house. Rust is a compound which forms when iron corrodes. The next word is cyanide. Cyanide. It's an uncountable noun. Cyanide is a very poisonous chemical compound. The most common type is potassium cyanide, KCN. Don't worry, you don't need to know chemical formulas for the TOEFL. That's mainly for those of you who have studied chemistry or are interested in chemistry. Cyanide occurs naturally in several different types of plants. Cyanide is also manufactured so it can be used in gold and silver mining. Next we have dissolve. Dissolve is a verb. It has a couple of meanings. Number one, of a solid, to combine with a liquid and become part of it, or to make a solid become part of a liquid. Number two, to officially end an organization or legal agreement. The noun is dissolution. Dissolution. That relates to the second meaning. It's the act or process of officially ending an organization or agreement. Sugar and salt dissolve in water. He dissolved the tablet in water and then drank it. The king decided to dissolve the parliament. The next word is melt. Melt. It's a verb. Of a solid, to become liquid, or to make a solid become liquid, usually as a result of heating. This ice cream is melting. Here's a usage tip. The temperature at which a substance becomes liquid is called its melting point. The melting point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. You need to melt the butter before mixing it with the flour. The next word is molecule. Molecule. It's a countable noun. A molecule is a group of atoms which is the simplest unit of a chemical substance. The adjective is molecular. That means relating to molecules. This is an ethanol molecule. Water molecules consist of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. Now we have noxious. noxious. It's an adjective. Noxious means harmful or poisonous. Some thistles are considered noxious weeds. Here are a few collocations. We have a noxious chemical, a noxious gas, noxious fumes, noxious weeds, and noxious waste. I wouldn't use that fertilizer if I were you. It's very noxious. Many of the workers at the factory got sick because they were breathing in noxious fumes. This word is preservative. Preservative. It's countable and uncountable. A preservative is a substance used to prevent things like food or wood from decaying. Let's see the word family. We have the verb to preserve, which means to prevent something from decaying. We have the noun preservation, which is the act of preserving something. And we have the adjective preservative. That means able to preserve something. Here's a usage tip. This is a false friend in some languages. Be careful. It does not mean condom. Here are a few collocations. We have artificial preservative, natural preservative. Salt, for example, is a natural preservative. And added preservative. This sauce has no added preservatives. The wood has been treated with preservative to stop it from rotting. Remember, rot is similar to decay. The wood in the picture was probably treated with some sort of preservative. Now we have the verb react. React. It has a couple of meanings. Number one, of chemicals. To change when it is put with another chemical substance. Number two, of people. To act in a particular way because of something that has happened or been said. Now let's look at the word family. First we have the noun reaction. A reaction is the process or the action. Another noun is reactor. That has a couple of meanings. It can just mean something that reacts. But usually, reactor means nuclear reactor, which is a machine where nuclear power is produced. And finally, we have the adjective reactive. That means able to change when it is mixed with another substance. Here are a couple of usage tips. Number one, a chemical reacts with something. For example, sodium reacts with water. Number two, a person reacts to something. He reacted angrily to my suggestion. You don't need to put a preposition after react, but these are the prepositions you need to use if you want to put a noun after it. Acids react with alkalis and form salts. She wants to break up with her boyfriend, but she doesn't know how he will react. The next word is soluble. Soluble. It's an adjective. It means able to be dissolved in liquid. We don't say dissolvable. The word exists. You might find it in some big dictionaries, but it's very rare. Basically, everybody uses the word soluble. Let's see the word family. We have the noun solubility, which is the quality of being able to be dissolved. And we also have the noun solution. This has a couple of meanings. It can mean the answer to a problem. I'm sure you know that meaning. But it can also mean a liquid in which a substance has been dissolved. When Frank has a hangover, he takes soluble aspirin. Some substances are insoluble in water, but soluble in oils and fats. Insoluble is the opposite of soluble. The final word for this topic is sweetener. Sweetener. It's a countable and uncountable noun. It's a substance used instead of sugar to make food or drink taste sweeter. The adjective is sweet, which I'm sure you know already. The verb is sweeten. Sweeten means to become sweeter or to make something sweeter. Here are a couple of collocations. We have artificial sweetener and natural sweetener. The new soft drink doesn't have sugar, so they added sweetener to make it taste better. Honey and stevia are examples of natural sweeteners. Stevia is what you can see in the picture. Today I went to my first chemistry lecture. Even though most of us had done some chemistry in high school, our professor thought it would be good to start with the basics. She first explained that an atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist alone. When atoms combine, they form molecules. An ozone molecule, for example, has 3 oxygen atoms. A carbon dioxide molecule has 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. Speaking of carbon dioxide, here's an interesting fact. Scientists estimate that the world's oceans absorb about 1/3 of CO2 emissions generated by human activity. When atoms of different elements combine, they form compounds. Many things that we use or consume in everyday life are chemical compounds. For example, bleach. When you buy bleach in the supermarket, you're actually usually buying bleach mixed with water. Bleach is soluble, which means it dissolves in water. Some other examples are additives like sweeteners and preservatives. Some very noxious chemical compounds are cyanide and asbestos. Asbestos used to be used a lot in construction because it doesn't burn easily. She then talked briefly about alloys. Alloys are mixtures of 2 metals or a metal and another substance. Brass, for example, is an alloy of copper and zinc. We then had a look at the periodic table. There are currently 118 known elements. The position of an element on the table indicates which group of elements it's in. For example, the elements in the far right column are the noble gases. These are elements that very rarely react with others. In other words, they don't change when they're put with other substances. Each element has a chemical symbol which is 1 or 2 letters. It's often the first one or two letters of the English word for the element, but not always. For example, the symbol for gold is AU, and the symbol for arsenic is AS. Arsenic is very poisonous, and it sometimes contaminates groundwater. Next, she spoke briefly about acids and alkalis. Basically, if something has a pH lower than 7, it's an acid. And if it has a pH higher than 7, it's an alkali. Generally speaking, acids are corrosive. If something is corrosive, it has the power to corrode, which means to gradually destroy something or to gradually be destroyed. Corroding is not the same as melting. If something melts, it becomes liquid, but there is no chemical reaction. In other words, the molecules stay the same.